Hi, welcome to Mindful Conversations. My name is Greg Dwyer. My guest today is Audrey Carlson. I've known her for a few months. I spoke at her event. She is the founder of the event, the Happiness Club in Hartford. Audrey, thanks for being on the broadcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So how does someone start a happiness club? There must be like a backstory to this. So how did you get involved and interested in the happiness club?
Well, it happened organically, actually. It turned out that I needed a culmination project when I was finishing my schooling. I did my first master's was in integrative health and healing with Bernie Siegel.
Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Which was really wonderful.
Yeah.
And I got the itch again and did a positive psychology program through Kripalu with Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar.
Oh, wow.
Which is now called Whole Being Institute.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the program, we had to have a project that served the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought to myself, what the heck am I going to do?
Right.
Right? And basically what happened was I went to one of Bernie Siegel's workshops
mm-hmm.
in the area, and it was on the art of healing.
Wow.
And there was this gentleman there that had this incredible smile.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drawn to people with a wonderful smile. And I said, I need to know what you do.
Wow.
You have a fabulous smile. He says, my name is Lionel Ketchian, and I'm the founder of the Happiness Clubs from 20 years ago. And I said, I want to be a member. How can I be a member? He said, you are. You just show up.
So that's the initiation.
The initiation was that anybody, it's open to the world.
Okay.
And so there's basically 1,000 happiness clubs around the world.
Okay.
But I founded and created and established the one in Hartford, Connecticut.
Right. Okay.
So it's 5 years this spring.
That's great. Yours? Yours
Mine,
is 5?
Mine
okay.
is 5 years
That's great.
this spring.
Excellent.
And we have had the most incredible speakers that come and speak on the concepts of positive psychology
mm-hmm.
and thread stories, and basically they're inspirational, motivational speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Some have written books, some of them are famous, and some of them have just a powerful story of whether it be survival or resilience. The topic could be on forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
It could be on survival. It
Right.
could be on the air you breathe.
Wow.
Or humor.
Right.
It could be on laughter yoga.
Wow.
So that's how it all happened. I needed a place.
Mm-hmm.
And we meet the first Thursday of the month at the Town and County Club in Hartford. And for anyone interested, I'd be happy to give that information when we're ready.
Sure. Well, you can give it now. Go ahead. How do people get a hold of it? Because it's free. People don't have to pay. There's no membership, right?
Right.
Okay.
The main website is the Happiness Club website,
mm-hmm.
which is out of the Woodbridge area.
Okay.
So they're Fairfield, Woodbridge, New Haven, Bridgeport, Guilford, Clinton. And there's a newsletter with all the speakers in Connecticut. And then mine is in there
mm-hmm.
for the first Thursday of the month, which will be next Thursday. And Philomena is going to be my speaker on your soul. So it's going to tap into basically psychic, medium, clairvoyance, and
mm-hmm.
your soul.
Okay.
In April,
mm-hmm.
April 2nd, I have Dr. Bernie Siegel,
Wow.
who will be coming, and he'll probably talk about his newest book,
mm-hmm.
which is coming out in a few months, and it's called No Beginnings and No Endings.
Oh, now that's a title that's catchy. What is that about?
All his journeys into the spirit world and all of his stories over the years with his patients
mm-hmm.
and his personal stories on the spirit world.
Wow. Wow.
So, and that's going to be really something. And I'm
mm-hmm.
expecting probably 200 people to attend.
Wow.
The meetings are free, open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And my website is hartfordhappinessclub.com.
Okay.
My cell phone for people to call is on there as well. It's 860-841-5894. And what can I tell you? You know, I thought I was doing this for the community.
Yeah.
But
you did it for you, right?
I hate to sound so selfish, but
Right.
I love it
Right.
more
Right.
than you can imagine. And it's, you know, it's very much like we have to hit the refresh button in our computers,
Yeah, sure. You get a new start, right?
right? But
Rebooting,
guess what?
right?
But these are monthly meetings to push the refresh button in your own for you.
How important do you think happiness is? How important do you think this topic is for the general population? What have you seen? Have you seen a change? What have you seen?
People have been coming back month after month, and new people just show up, word of mouth.
Okay.
Curiosity, some people, I know it sounds kind of funny. Do you have to be unhappy to come? Or do you have, or am I going to leave happier?
Right.
And the bottom line is you just learn how to navigate life.
Right.
You hear other people's stories that you connect with. And it's a wonderful way to meet people, like-minded people, because
exactly.
That's what we all strive for.
And you're going to start your own show, I hear.
I am.
Which is great.
I'm very excited, and I have to find a way to distill a handful of speakers over 5 years to come and present.
Right.
So
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
So tell us a little bit about your story. I know when I had you on television over in Farmington, you shared your story. Would you like to share a little bit about it?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, the Happiness Club didn't start out on a happy note at all. It started out with tragedy. Our daughter was tragically taken from us when she was 24 by her ex-boyfriend. She was shot and killed in our home.
Oh, no.
It was the story basically that you hear again and again on a Lifetime channel, if I can't have her, nobody can.
Wow.
So when we lost Elizabeth, we decided to find a way to navigate through the grief process, not be defined by it.
Right.
How to grow, how to find that new normal.
Right. Which takes time.
It takes a very long time, and for everybody it's very different.
Right.
And what's key is you can't skip through any of the stages of grief.
Right. You have to go through them, and it takes time.
You have to go through them, and you have to understand them. And I'm going to give you a little metaphor that helped me a lot. Dr. Bernie Siegel shared this with me. No, it was Lionel Ketchian.
Okay.
Imagine yourself, you're full of grief, and you want to escape, and you want to find a way that you can just go someplace else.
An easy way.
An easy way.
Right.
Just imagine yourself in a rowboat. You're on the rowboat on the shore, and you're going to start to paddle out into the ocean. And the ocean represents basically an escape.
Okay.
Don't row out so far that you lose your way back. Don't get lost in your grief.
I see.
Don't get lost in those waves of the ocean that take you down under. You're allowed to go out for a while, but you have to come back to the land of the living.
Right, right.
And that's the quote that Bernie Siegel shared with me from Thornton Wilder's book, Bridges of San Rui Ray. There's the land of the living and the land of the dead, and that bridge is love.
Oh, okay.
They're connected for always. So basically, what happened was we had to find our way. My husband threw himself into getting a bulldozer built, basically ripping up our backyard and rebuilding it, brick by brick, grass by, he just rebuilt the whole thing.
Okay.
He threw himself into the physical aspect of it.
Right. People grieve differently.
And I threw myself into trying to find answers to the intangible, invisible world called the spirit world. Because I couldn't understand how and why.
Right.
Right.
You have to make sense of it.
You have to make sense of it, and I threw myself into this program at the Graduate Institute. And so the first question I asked Bernie when I asked him to be my teacher and mentor was, can people be born evil?
What did you say to that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We can't be born evil.
Right.
We're born pure and good. We're God's children. It's what happens in the absence of love.
So in the absence of love, there's hate, there's evil. Right.
And bad things happen.
Okay. Right.
So I said, I believe you, but I'm questioning you. And he said, I want you to question everything. That's called schooling, and that's what you're going to do. So your first assignment will be to go to the prison system and ask the prisoners yourself.
What did you think when he said that?
I was pretty dumbfounded, and it wasn't anything I had intended to do because...
That's been outside your comfort zone, right?
Outside my comfort zone to the point where there was no way that I was going to even think about doing something like that.
Right, so you would never have thought of it.
That's right.
So you needed a teacher to stretch you. Yeah.
So he said, so what's your next question? So I said,
really?
Just like that.
Wow.
So he had me come with a legal pad of all these questions of what I wanted from schooling. So I said, well, this word forgiveness, I get it, and I understand that I can't live with hatred, bitterness, and anger because it'll take me down under.
That's right.
He will have power over me.
Right.
And how will I live my life? So he said your next assignment was going to be to go to the study pastoral counseling.
Oh, okay.
And through that program, I learned a new word through the Buddhist concept of letting go. So I had to learn how to breathe again. For a long time, Greg, I wasn't breathing for about a year.
Wow.
I actually had to work with a therapist to learn how to breathe in to the count of 6, what I need, and breathe out what I needed to get rid of.
To get rid of, yeah.
So by doing that, I learned how to put it all together. So I learned how to just breathe in, love, breathe out what you need to get rid of.
Right.
Right.
Releasing it. Right.
And I would do this before I'd even get out of bed. And it set the tone for the day, the power of intention.
Yes, that's very powerful.
Right? And whatever I did, I attached an emotion to my breathing.
Okay.
That I needed calm, I needed strength, I needed resilience, I needed whatever it was.
You're taking that in.
As I would project what my day would be.
Right.
Wherever I was going, I would attach an emotion.
Right.
So I did that.
How long did you do? You still do that?
Every day.
Oh, you do. So you have the discipline and the ritual of doing that.
I do.
That's wonderful.
And I teach it to people because it's a pretty powerful tool.
It is, because it sets up your day, sets up your life. So
That's right.
Yeah.
And guess what happens?
What? Miracles.
Miracles, and you get exactly what you put out. You become your words.
Right. You're like
if
a
you
magnet.
get up in the morning and you say, I'm going to have a really crappy day,
It's a self-fulfilled prophecy.
you're going to have a crappy day.
Right. It's the side of the bed you roll over
Right.
off, right?
Right. And you also learn to make your own weather.
What do you mean? Like
Well,
snow, rain? What?
No,
what?
just say it's a cloudy day, it's raw and it's cold and the wind is biting your face.
Yeah.
You have to create your own weather and
Internally.
internally,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's kind of like the Temptations, or the Four Tops.
Yeah.
I got sunshine on a cloudy day.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
That's
create
right.
your own weather.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Right?
right. That's right.
Right.
And I think people pick up on that, don't you? I mean, have you ever walked into a room and you're just like, wow, there's a lot of negative energy over here, and then this,
That's right.
You pick it up. So.
You pick the people that you choose to be with.
Right, right.
So we got diverted. So to go back, I learned how to use the word letting go. And I would take a deep breath in, and I said to God, here's the deal.
Wow.
I'm giving Jonathan to you. He's the one who killed our daughter, her boyfriend,
Right.
ex-boyfriend.
Right, right.
So I took a deep breath, and I created like a big bubble, and I gave him to God. And I said, whatever you choose to do.
Right.
And you want to know what? I tell people this every day. Everybody that lives and crawls on this earth has someone that they want to put in a bubble and blow away out into the universe.
Okay.
And rather attach themselves to that person and have hatred, bitterness, and anger or guilt. Let them go.
It's like cutting the
Just let it
cords.
go.
It's like cutting a cord.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's a very powerful tool that you really need to understand that you have the power from within.
right, right. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about intuition and being guided within. It's no coincidence you're sitting here. So I did a presentation like 3 years ago, and I met someone that said to me, you need to call about the Happiness Club, which led me to a presentation there, which led me to your presentation, which led me here, and now I'm finding out you're doing a show. So it's just like a rippling effect, and it's kind of fun, because you're guided with your
There are no
intuition.
coincidences.
There are no coincidences.
There are no
right?
coincidences,
Yeah.
and synchronicities
Right.
are.
So let's talk about that. How do you feel guided in your personal spiritual life?
Wow. I have, my world is this big, so I embrace it all.
Okay.
So I want to just tell you
Sure.
a really interesting story that happened to me. I was taking these classes at the Graduate Institute. Dr. Larry Dawsey, who wrote, "Be careful what you pray for, you just might get it."
Ah, yes.
So I got his book, I had him sign the book, and I was over the moon. I met this incredible guy, and I got halfway through the book. I said, I get this, and I put the book down.
Right.
I didn't finish the book, because I didn't think I needed to finish the book.
Right.
A few months later, basically my husband had to go in for prostate cancer surgery. We went in for the surgery, and he had to go back for a post-op check. And I'm at work, and it was starting to gnaw at me a little bit, quite a bit actually, that we established a foundation in memory of our daughter, a performing arts foundation for high school kids to get scholarships. And I hadn't worked on a fundraiser. And I was feeling anxious. I felt a lot of angst.
Sure.
So I started talking to God, like, you know, Monty Hall, let's make a deal.
Yeah.
So I said to
like
God.
Moses.
So I said to God, so here's the deal.
Okay.
What's it going to take for me to sit still long enough to put a project together for this fundraiser? I need a theme, I need a place, I need all the details to put together a fundraiser. Hopped in my car, picked Bruce up, went to Manhattan for his checkup, and it was one of those icy days.
Right.
And I slipped and fell in the middle of Manhattan on the corner, 2 blocks away from Mount Sinai Hospital.
Okay.
The ambulance was across the street. This is all going to come to fruition. This is all going to make sense in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you got me curious though.
Oh, yeah. So the ambulance comes and they feel my knee. They said, oh, you're going to be out of commission for a while. I said, that's ridiculous. I just signed up for the New York Marathon. I'm ready to go.
Wow,
We're ready to go. It's just a bad boo-boo.
Right.
And I said, well, it's not so, a little bit more than that.
Okay.
Get into the ER, and the head of orthopedics comes down, Dr. Colvin, and she says to me just before they give me morphine because I'm going into shock because the pain is so awful.
Oh, it was that bad.
I fractured my knee in half. I fell in the middle of the road
Oh, my
and
goodness.
fractured my patella in half. It split in half.
Oh my goodness.
So half was here, half was there, and it was...
And you thought it was just a boo-boo.
I knew it was bad because I couldn't move.
Yeah, all right.
But I didn't, you don't want to know how bad it is.
Yes.
We're all in denial.
Unless the bone is sticking out through the, yeah. You know
Right?
what I mean?
So it was really bad.
Yeah.
So she holds my hand and very lovingly. She said to me, darling, please tell me that you have a project that you're going to be working on for the next 3 months because you're going to be out of commission. You're not going to be at work for about 3 months.
Right.
And I was laughing and crying at the same time.
Okay.
As I said, I just talked to God 2 hours ago, and I said to him, what's it going to take for me to sit still long enough to work
You better
on
be careful what you ask for.
And she said to me, don't you know that, she said, didn't you ever read Larry Dossey's book?
No.
Be careful what you
No.
pray.
She said that?
I swear. Didn't you ever read his book, Be Careful What You Pray For? You just might, you just might get it. And I said, I read the book, I read half, but I didn't put clear, concise language around what I was asking. She says, always keep yourself safe, away from harm, and then ask for what you want.
Wow.
Keep yourself safe, away from harm,
Wow. That's amazing.
and then ask.
That's amazing.
I said I didn't do that. I just said to God, what's it going to take for me to sit still long enough to put together this project?
It's the last time you start making deals with God, right? You gotta maybe have a mediator.
So the bottom line is, intuition, synchronicities, things don't happen just because.
No.
They happen for very powerful reasons. And there was another lesson I learned.
What's that?
Well, when you can't move more than 2 or 3 millimeters at a time because you've got this immobilizer on your leg and you can't move, your life slows down.
Right. You start thinking, right?
You start thinking at a level you thought you didn't even know existed.
Because you're not in the habits of just doing, right?
I became, all the tools I learned in my toolbox from my program at school started to come into a very, very clear focus. I had to do everything very slowly. I ate slower.
Wow.
I moved slower.
Wow.
I gave myself time to pause.
So you were like in a meditative state almost.
Everything was slow.
Okay.
And it forced me to slow down to the point where everything just shifted.
Wow.
So because and mind you, I wasn't doing anything. I had no exercise. I wasn't doing anything except moving in millimeters and inches.
Wow.
I lost 15 pounds in 3 months doing nothing.
Interesting.
Because I slowed down and I was mindful. I wasn't racing to eat.
Right.
I slowed down. I ate half portions.
I see.
Everything shifted.
Wow, that must have changed your life and your outlook.
It did.
Yep.
It changed. It gave me reason to believe that we all need to pause.
Right.
And
reflect.
Reflect and be mindful. In terms of intuition, I speak to kids in high schools
Okay.
and all over about how to trust the gift that we've all been given. It's an innate gift.
Right.
And it's our intuition, and to never question your intuition, which is your gut.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, because the topic I talk on is how to recognize healthy and unhealthy relationships.
That's wonderful. Well,
And I
can
talk to high school kids.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I say to them, you don't need to get a master's. You don't have to have a higher education. If something doesn't feel right, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same advice my grandmother gave me as a kid. Listen to your heart and head. If
Right.
your heart and head don't agree, it's a no.
Right. Right.
So if you're in a relationship with anyone and it doesn't feel right, you shouldn't be in that relationship.
Right.
And what's the safe way to get out of that relationship and not put yourself in danger?
Right.
So these are topics that are really key
Right.
for youngsters to learn, so that they don't plow through life and make horrible mistakes.
Right, because who you pick as a partner is going to influence your whole life.
That's
You
right.
know. So, well, let's do this. Are you familiar with the ESP cards?
Of course.
Okay. All right. So
All right.
let's do this. I'm going to write down your name
Okay.
on the back of this here.
Okay.
Audrey. I'll just put your first name.
Okay.
All right. So there you go, right there. And of the 5 cards, I'd like you to, just think of one.
All right.
I don't want to influence you, and we did not set anything up. Like you and I haven't worked this out at all.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I think I know exactly what you're thinking of. Would that impress you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions. The first question is, did you pick the zero, the circle?
No.
I didn't think so. Did you pick the cross?
No.
Didn't think so. Did you pick the squiggly lines? Wow, we're getting close. Did you pick the square? So you had to pick.
I did.
Okay, and I had a feeling that you did, and I'll show you why, because that's what I wrote. See that?
Holy moly.
So
Look at you.
I have to ask you the question, why did you pick the star?
Well, something very funny happened. I just got a new car
You did?
a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And the front of my car, it's a Mercedes convertible.
Okay.
And the front of the car has a star, and it lights up at night.
The star does?
Yes, and somebody had to follow me home the other night. Well, I was following them, and they said they saw me the whole time because the front of my car had a lit up star. And they say, "You're a star."
You're a star. You're a star. Yeah.
So
I knew that
I
about
love
you.
stars.
So there's
yeah.
your name.
And the stars, above.
Yeah, yeah.
So that.
Do you ever stop and just look at the stars?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here in Litchfield, there's places where you can actually go outside and it's completely dark. My house, you go outside and you can see there's no white.
It's magical.
It is magical. There's
But
no
you know
white
what else
light.
is magical?
What?
Do you still see the man on the moon? I do.
No.
I do. You have to look.
Okay.
You could see the eyes, the nose, the smile,
Gotcha.
the face.
Right.
There is a man on the moon.
Well, let me ask you this. We talked a lot about spirituality. Do you really think the moon, the sun, the stars, the planets, the seasons, do you think they have an impact on us?
They're all connected.
You do think.
And we are connected to all of those seasons.
You do. Okay. All right.
We are all connected with the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that exists,
Mm-hmm.
we're connected to.
Right.
100%.
So here in Connecticut, we had a really mild winter. I mean, we haven't had a lot of snow. And we're kind of almost into the spring season. Do you think that has an impact as far as darkness to light and the rest of it? I mean, summer is different than fall, Do you think it has an impact on a person's psychological makeup?
Absolutely.
You do? Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. But I also think that March can also present a lot of snow.
Yes.
And we have had some big blizzards.
I want a big blizzard. A
Yes.
big blizzard in March. That would be wonderful.
Well, that's the kid in us. We all want. We all
just
want
one
a snow
day.
day.
Yeah, just a weekend, just to have it snow for like a
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be fun.
And then have it melt, the next day or something like
But
that.
in terms of seasons, don't you find that, we are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
We all come alive
Right. In the spring.
in the spring.
I think so.
In the spring and in the summer, we also have to trust that everything freezes up.
What do you mean, in the summer?
In the winter.
In the winter it
In the
does.
winter, everything freezes up.
Yep. And sometimes life
Goes
freezes.
dormant.
And sometimes
Goes
that's how
dormant.
life is, right?
And we're supposed to allow our bodies to go through those cycles
I think so.
with the seasons.
I think so.
And in terms of Ayurvedic medicine and
Mm-hmm.
mindset, in terms of their culture, eat accordingly. You eat warming foods.
Right. In the winter.
And we eat foods that are seasonal, foods that come out that are farmed.
Right.
Or that's
So you're
what
in
we're supposed-
sync with the seasons. It doesn't make sense for you to go out and buy a big, bag of seeds and throw it into the garden in the winter. It just
That's
doesn't make
right.
any sense to me. And I think a lot of times people struggle with, well, why am I tired, or why am I depressed, or why am I going to bed early? Well, it's dark at 4:30, so, and I think
Make like a bear and hibernate a little bit.
yeah.
Get a little more sleep and allow your body to
right,
heal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's
I think
what we're supposed to do.
I think with the lights today and with heat today, and we can fight the seasons, but I don't think we can really fight the seasons in the long term at all. You
No.
know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
The key is not to fight them at all. And back to when I broke my knee.
Yeah.
Another lesson I learned, speaking of fighting,
Mhm.
I had to learn how not to fight the pain.
Really.
When I learned how to breathe into the pain and relax around it, I
Mhm.
healed quicker,
Right.
and I was able to navigate through life.
Right.
If you don't fight anything and you embrace it,
Right.
accept it, you'll navigate
That's a
through.
very Buddhist idea, isn't it? Just to
Yes.
accept and
Yeah.
to let it
Just
go.
know we're in winter, and you're not going to see anything growing out of the
Right.
ground until it's time.
Right. Exactly.
And live your life accordingly, and just trust the process.
So, how do you want to be remembered? And I think you have. I don't want to say it's a wonderful story, because it's a tragic story, and my heart goes out to you and
Thank
your
you.
family.
Thank you.
But it takes great courage to overcome it and to do something really special and wonderful in your life, which you're doing. But it comes at a price. It comes at a tremendous price. How do you want to be known? How do you want to be remembered? What legacy do you want to leave behind for the people that?
A few things.
Yeah, please.
The first, most powerful one is the one that Bernie taught me through Thornton Wilder's book.
Mm-hmm.
Love is eternal.
Love is eternal.
I want to be remembered that her legacy is her love.
Right. Right.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two, I want to be remembered that, I saw a medium a number of years ago after Elizabeth was killed. And she said, she shared some words with me that were very, very powerful, difficult to hear, but profound. And she said to me, Audrey, I know you thought you loved Elizabeth more than any, you can't imagine that you loved her as much as you did, or you could love her any more.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes. She said, the lessons we learn through the cycle of life and death is that just when you thought you loved deeply, you love even more.
Wow.
Just when you thought you loved as much as you could, there was more.
So you can love more?
You can love more.
Okay.
Just when you thought you knew the depth of love, you didn't.
Okay.
But now you do.
Does that mean?
And that goes with life too.
Does that mean you can love even though they're gone? Is that what that means?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Just when you thought you knew love, and just when you thought
Wow.
you knew the meaning of life, you didn't know the real depth of it.
Wow. That's profound.
Yes. And it was hard to hear at first.
Yeah.
And once I wrapped my head around it,
Mhm.
it became more true.
Right.
And I was living it, and life had more meaning and purpose.
Wow. We'll have to have you back. This is a wonderful
Thank
story,
you.
a
Thank
wonderful journey. How do folks get a hold of you? We have 30 seconds left.
HartfordHappinessClub.com.
Okay.
The first Thursday of the month at the Hartford Happiness Club, Town and County in Hartford,
Okay.
860-841-5894.
Thank you, Audrey. I really appreciate it.
Thank
We'll
you.
catch you next time on Mindful Conversations. I know we gave you something to think about. We'll catch you
Thank
next
you.
time. Thank you.